Hey everyone, so today I'll be showing you one of the most important, if not the most important property to stay on top of in HubSpot, which is the lifecycle stage. So you use this to basically track how a lead is moving through your marketing and sales funnel. It's a field that's pre-created by HubSpot and you can actually change it yourself. The stages that are there, they're set. And they're also linked to a lot of HubSpot reports. So it's very important to kind of use it in the way that HubSpot intends you to use it in order for it to actually give you the proper data. You don't have to, but then just be aware that some of the reports will break if you start being too creative. One of those examples would be if you move a contact backwards in a lifecycle stage. So from a, for example, marketing qualified lead to a lead, that can kind of break some of the reports there. So just be aware when you are doing that. If it's someone who clicks by mistake, of course, you can move them backwards. But for example, if someone was a marketing qualified lead and you realize, hey, they're actually not buying for our products, so it's not a marketing qualified, they're not a customer, so I want to move them back to becoming a lead. The fact that they actually was an MQL will actually not be there anymore. So there are ways to fix that, but I will not go too much into detail on that right now. So just be a little bit careful with that. So in HubSpot, there are 4 different ways that you can set a lifecycle stage. 2 of them, you can move them backwards as well. And 2 of them, you can only move them forwards. So the 4 different ways are manually. You go in on a contact or a company and you just manually select, or of course you could do it on a deal as well, manually select that they are actually a customer, for example, or a marketing qualified lead. And if you don't have automation, this might be a good way to do that. The second way is, and with this one, you can actually move them backwards as well. The second way is using the syncs that you have in HubSpot. So you can sync, for example, if you have a company that gets updated to a customer, the associated contacts can automatically be updated as well. Same goes for deals. You also can use the hidden form fields. So in a form, you can use a hidden field that automatically sets the lifecycle stage. If you don't have automation, for example, this can be a very useful way to do it, so you don't have to manually update it. So that's another way. And the way that gives you the most flexibility would be workflows. So with workflows, you can also move them backwards if you want to. And it gives you a lot more freedom compared to the other options. But yeah, let's actually just jump straight into it. So we would go in here typically on contacts or companies, for example. In this case, let's just go into contacts. And yeah, we select, for example, Christian here. And as we see here, he is right now a subscriber, but let's say he actually purchased our service or product. And by the way, if you can't see lifecycle stage here, it might be that you removed it as one of your standard properties. So then you would need to go in and add this as a property. Typically, you can go in here and add it if you want to do it on yourself. If you want to add it for everyone, you would go in and change the standard fields that everyone is seeing. But yeah, so here it's very straightforward. You can see your different options here. And you can, for example, set it as marketing qualified lead. So yeah, let's just do that. And we are basically all set. So now Chris in here, he is a marketing qualified lead. And yeah, we're good to go. And another option here would be he clicked by mistake. And I say, well, he didn't actually do anything. He didn't want to have a demo, for example. I can actually move him backwards as well and turn him into a lead so our reports doesn't get too many MQLs compared to what we actually got this month. The second option would be, and this is for all versions, by the way. The second option would be the sync, lifecycle stage sync that you have in HubSpot. So you would exit that through settings. And yeah, I'm just going to go back. You would click on CRM and either click on contacts and companies or deals. So in contacts and companies, you would then go into companies. And just be aware that the lifecycle stage sync is not bi-directional. So if you update a contact, it will not automatically sync the company property, but the other way will work. So how we would turn it on is literally just click here, turn it on, And this would mean that if we update a company to a customer, for example, all associated contacts would also be updated to a customer. So if this is a good fit for you, it really depends on your use case, but this is at least one way to do it. Same goes for deals. We would go into deals and you see the field here. And yeah, we would just turn it on. And this would mean, for example, if we update a deal to close won, the associated contacts would be set as customers, for example. So those are two standard ways that everyone can actually use. The third way would be the hidden form field. And this is also one you can use. Say that you don't have marketing automation, for example, in the starter product, but you still want to set it automatically. You don't want to go in manually and update it. This is a really good way to do it. So we would go into marketing, lead capture, and forms. Let's create a new form. Let's do it an embed form. You can, of course, just add it to your current contact us, demo request, free trial, or whichever it is. But yeah, let's just create a new one here. So how we would do then is we would go in, we would drag in the lifecycle stage here. And then, of course, right now, we don't want people to select their own lifecycle stage. So either you can just click on it or you can use a little pencil here to edit. I just clicked it. And as you see here, we get some additional settings. So to hide it from the person, you would just click on make this field hidden. So this means that the lead cannot see this field. And we also want to do something else. We want to pre-select an option. So for example, this is a demo page, demo form, and I want anyone who fills out this form to be marked as a marketing qualified lead. So this would happen now. It would automatically update this property on the contact, and we would hit publish. And again, we are pretty much good to go. So the last way, by the way, I'm clicking very aggressively today. Sorry about that. Would be automation. So this gives you a lot of flexibility, different rules, how to set things up. But I'm going to do it very straightforward here. Let's just do it contact based, like starting from scratch. So what we first need to do is decide what needs to happen to someone to be enrolled into this specific workflow. In this case, we might want to be using a form. So let's say that someone filled out a contact form, for example, on any page. And we can, of course, here also add additional things or different condition and multiple forms and in one workflow. So it gives you a little bit more options. And if you, for example, want to say, hey, I want to include lead scoring or something like that in this as well, you can do that. But just on a side note there, I don't recommend lead scoring typically maybe shouldn't be used as a marketing qualified lead option. I prefer to have it as a separate metric if you're prospecting your database. But if you want to, you can, of course, do that as well. So what we have now is basically nothing will really happen, but people will get enrolled. And then we, of course, need to decide what happens when they fill out this form. So what I would do then is I would just set a property value and I would select the lifecycle stage and I would select, for example, marketing qualified lead or whichever other stage you want to be using. Hit save. And now we basically have the same setup as we would with a hidden field form field as well. So this would only move them forward though. If we do want to move them backward, again, don't do this unless you really know what you're doing because you will break a lot of the reports if you're not careful. For example, if you have a lot of close lost opportunities and you just bulk move them back to becoming a lead, the information that they were in MQL will actually disappear. So all your reports will break if you do it. So another way to do it here would just be to move them to other, for example, or to use a combination of lifecycle stages and lead status, which is a property that I will be talking more about in the next video. Typically, I would use those two in combination to give you a little bit more details into what is actually happening. And this one you can actually tweak and edit a little bit more and set it up to a way that fits you in a good way. But again, if you do want to do it, can actually just to make it simpler, I'm just going to add it. We would first need to clear the collected property value. So I would just clean out this one. So what happens now is when someone fills out this form, we delete the current lifecycle stage. So there's nothing there right now. and it would then set it to marketing qualified lead. And if we do this, we could in reality move someone back from a customer to a subscriber if we want to. Hit review, hit publish, and you're pretty much good to go. Of course, please use a better naming convention that I did here. Keep a good structure, use folders, use a naming convention, because as your kind of database grows, you get more workflows, and like it's just going to be very confusing if you don't have a good naming convention structure. So definitely use this and think a little bit about how you want to set it up, what kind of folders should you create, and yeah, start doing that from day one. It's going to save you so much time. But that was pretty much it, what I wanted to show you today. So again, in the next video, I'll be going through lead status, which is another really useful field, and show a little bit more about how to use those two in combination. And if you have something else you would like me to go through, feel free to write down in the comments or reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to cover that in a future video. So yeah, have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you soon again.